Hi, I'm Emanuelle. I'm dog behaviorist. I'm from Brazil. I live in the Netherlands almost 5 years. And now you can see I love dogs. I love to be around dogs. So yeah, let's talk about this. Normally, like in Brazil, my job was like went to a lot of different floras and environments to look for frogs. And so most of my time in the forest was like in the night. I also work like with crocodiles there, so yeah, snakes, and my job was like collect those animals, put them like in a place, like in a box, go to the museum, study them and then back and give them like some freedom. Some days for example, I went to Amazon and I spent like 10 days over there just like studying and working. I travel a lot in Brazil. So it was really, really fun that time. I really miss like to be in the middle of the nature, you know, like.
I'm Luciana. I'm living in Netherlands for 3 years, and I'm a friend from Emanuelle. I think that I met her in 2019, 1 year after I moved to Netherlands. We have a mutual friend, and then we become friends as well. We love to go to museums together. We share a lot of musics and new bands, and she also likes jazz. So we used to talk about that. We used to listen a lot of new bands of jazz as well. We are living about 6 or 7 months together before as well. And to live with Manu is so easy. She's so nice. She used to cook a lot of good things for me. Yeah, and we gossiping a lot.
I used to work like with animal behavior as a biologist in Brazil, but then when Miles came to my life 6 years ago, I was really like asking myself like, what did this dog want from me? I can't understand you, man. Really, what means like just licking your face? Why you just avoid the eye contact? And then I start to going into this because this makes so much more sense for me because he's a big mammal, like inside of my place. So it's like, okay, I have experiments like to do every day. So I just need to study this. Miles is not the easy one. To be honest, he's a very, I don't like much this word, but I mean, he's a very difficult dog because he has a lot of problems, like he has chronic pain because he has problems on the back and the spinal, so he's always in pain, but they are very strong dogs. French bulldogs are very strong, so if you look at him, you're gonna say, no, he has nothing, but I know my dog, Miles, come on. I think, yeah. And he wanted like something from there. I think there is something for him to chew, and he's trying to find. Oh no, it was a kibble, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
Miles knows a lot of things. He's super intelligent dog, but it's a bit spoiler him a little bit. Sometimes she's not putting everything she knows, you know. Like professional stuff on him, you know, she doesn't use that thing with him, but she loves to cuddle him all the time, she pets him all the time, and she does whatever he wants.
In the beginning it was just like for fun, but then I realized like I could be so much more happy just work with dogs, and that feeling I had when I was young about like really understand the mind of the animals. And then in Brazil I started to do like some professional course. I did a few, I don't remember how many. And I realized like, okay, maybe it's a good start. It's a new beginning for everything, so I'm gonna do this. I have my own company here. It's a big challenge because the language is Dutch here. I don't speak Dutch. I learned English like 2 years ago, so by myself. And in the beginning it was really difficult for me. I just like had clients, Brazilian clients, because it's the way like I found myself like to feel comfortable to start work. But then, okay, let's do this in English. It's quite difficult for me express myself in English still.
She has like so many clients in Amsterdam, and she's trying to like put her brand on track, and I think that she's getting there. She doesn't complain about the work. She really loves that. I don't know if she's really good with people, but to do with animals, she's really good. She's really good. She knows like some things that I could never imagine about like animals' mind. You know, the mindset of animals, and not only about the dogs, but she's really good on the animals' behavior.
Being a dog behaviorist, like you need to understand about nutrition as well. It's not just something like, oh, I like dogs, so I'm gonna work with them. You need to know you're gonna work like with the people, more with the dogs. My consultations is really more like about talking and orientation, like, and explaining things. So normally, like in the first 3 meetings, I even like touching the dog, you know, or just petting him a little bit. But my job is not with him, it's with that family, and I'm gonna speak with the owners, and the owner is gonna train the dog and like make the difference, and follow everything I'm trying to explain over there. It's about like the whole life, more than just like going there and like teaching like some tricks to the dog. I have some dogs I can help like just like in 2-3 months, something like that. But I do have clients who I keep working for more than a year.
I'm Alexander, but most of people call me Benny. We moved to the Netherlands for about 5 years ago.
I'm Erica, also from Brazil. And we are the humans of Tapioca.
Yeah, Tapioca is a lovely dog. I love her. Like I have like my preference. Like I think the most difficult dogs, they are like my preferred ones.
The reason we chose to go for a behaviorist to begin with was, you know, okay, we're gonna have one source of truth for what we have to do, and we're gonna really stick to it.
What's happening is, in the beginning, we start to see each other, like me and my clients, every week, for example, and then we start to increase like the distance between one session and another, because the owner has the new skills, the tools.
Yeah. It's like having this tool belt of things that we learn and using it due to specific situations, right?
Yeah.
Dogs who has a lot of fear, for me, those are the most difficult ones, and take a lot of time for them like set up and be calm again, and like maybe not calm, but at least like cope with the environment.
With Manu, we learned to look at it a different way. You know, it's not a behavior that is bad, it's because your dog is maybe suffering with something, or struggling is a better word.
Yeah. Struggling
with the situation, they don't know how to cope with that, and then how can you help them?
The person needs to know how I'm gonna work, how I like to do it. So the first consultation is really, really important, because we need to have the same expectations about like what we're gonna do like with the dog. So how we're gonna change this.
She's teaching us things like in the park. When Tapi looks at another dog and you know that she would normally react, you try to reward her before she even does, that kind of thing. And even though sometimes that doesn't work that well in the park, we try to use that same mindset of the things that we learned.
I always like to say, I'm not gonna fix your dog. I can't give you any guarantee about that. And if you find someone who's gonna say to you, okay, I'm gonna fix your dog, that person is lying, or that person is like use like some kind of punishment.
One day Manu went to our house, and you know, sometimes the trainings are going outside for a walk, but training a specific thing. But that day we sat down around the table, and she was like, look, I think Tapi is suffering from chronic anxiety. And we really need to, you know, lower all the stimuli we can to make sure she goes back to a stage where she can learn.
We have like the body language, and we have a lot of signals. So I'm gonna take a look, for example, how how are the ears, like the mouth, if the dog is licking too much, if he's turning the face, how afraid he is. We have also like physiological response, like shaking, sweating, like in the paws. So I also needed to notice, for example, the balance in the body. Some dogs who are really, really afraid, they have like the nails in the front paws, they are more like, they are bigger than the back ones. So we know like they use like more the back legs to escape, for example. So there is a lot of things like you can check and you can see. Yeah, Tapioca, it's in the beginning, Tapioca was so anxious. To be honest, she was like the most anxious pup I ever had in my life.
In the beginning, I think it was just the normal puppy stuff.
She was completely like, she couldn't cope with the environment, with us. She couldn't think about nothing. She was just like lost in the world.
She was barking a lot, crying a lot, chewing on things, peeing everywhere.
Biting.
Which is, of course, what we expected it would happen.
Even things like leaving the house, where people just say that you need to ask your dog to stay, to wait, and you don't get out of the house until the dog is chill, just doesn't work out with Tapi. With Tapi, things are slightly different, and that's where I think we knew that we would need the help of a dog behaviorist.
I think the problem was that we really didn't know what to do, because we would look online and then somebody would say, for example, when your dog is peeing on the wrong place, you just grab the dog while they're doing it and put them on the right place. And we did it like twice, and we saw she was completely traumatized by that. And we're like, okay, that's really bad advice. And then other things like, when the dog, when you need the dog to sleep, you gotta lock them into a crate and just leave them there, and they will learn how to calm down there. And every time we try to lock Tapi on a crate or anything, it would just make things worse. You would get more nervous, and we were again, okay, that's not really good advice.
I have just a funny history to talk about this, because I was training a Samoyed. I was just like changing the leash, and when I was picking like the big leash, because she was like with a short one, she saw someone and then she ran away, and then I was like taking the leash, so my fingers did this. That day the owners had a meeting, and I'm not gonna lose like my training session. I can go with her, and then I broke like those fingers, and then I called the owners. Okay, guys, I need help because you need to pick Tapioca because she broke my fingers. And then that was like the most dangerous situation I have ever had. Nowadays, it's so nice to see her. She's just like happy. She can sniff everything. She can explore. She can play with other dogs. She can ignore other dogs. She can just like be with different kind of person in the same place. So yeah, it was like an amazing job, but that's also because the owners are amazing as well. So really depends more also about the owner than just me. So.
And sometimes even things that Manu told us like long ago, they are just like clicking on our head now, you know? You're like, okay, that's what she meant and that's why.
It's great, right? It feels really rewarding. I mean, she's sleeping right now. We are having like an interview with 3 people that are completely new to her. And I mean, it's peaceful, you know? As opposed to chaos, like the first moments we had with her. Yeah. So it's very rewarding. Thank you, Manu. You changed our life forever, and we think we wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Yeah, I think Manu was really like a key part on Tapi's life so far.
And will be forever.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and she became a friend as well.
Yeah, it's very important like to identify the emotion who's reflects in the behavior, because the behavior is just a consequence for emotion. That's the point, do you know? So if you can't identify the emotion, you can solve a problem, you can solve a behavior. So The emotion is the most important thing. Then the behavior is gonna change because you're gonna change the way the dog feels about something. That's the goal.